Hey everybody, this is Josh Runquist for the Heavy Debriefings YouTube channel. Still doing out today and what I missed with this video. 11 new albums, 8 out today, 3 I missed along the way, but you're not going to be seeing my ugly mug due to some personal matters and mental health issues I'm currently going through so far. Not going to be having the silly stuff going on here, just basically going to be doing the album reviews and putting up the album cover so you can see everything that's going on. And as I've learned as of late, the YouTube shorts are the ones that most people are watching anyways. This compilation one is always just a labor of love for me, so I guess this week it just has to take a back seat. I hope you still enjoy it. First up is Ancient Settlers with Oblivion's Legacy. This is the second album from the South American and European band, and they pulled an arch enemy on this album, replacing the male vocals on the original album, and now going forward with some female vocals from Argent Death. This is an interesting combination because it really has some really deep, dark, black metal screams and growls going on this album, yet it is also has some pop flair to it with the clean vocals. It is an odd combination that I know won't be for everybody, but if you dig this kind of thing like I do, I think you'll be able to find something to really enjoy here. It's a great mix of melodic death metal, second wave metalcore, and their own spices and flavors, and if that sounds interesting to you, give this one a shot. Next up, we have Bat with Under the Crooked Claw, another sophomore album here, and the first one in 8 years from Ryan and Nick of Municipal Waste, doing their more dark, fun, evil side of heavy metal, really influenced by Merciful Fate, at least to my ears. It's got some more of that 80s raw production, but it still works so perfectly for what's going on with the music. It feels like that new wave of British heavy metal, just the right amount of thrash, that revival metal sound, but done through Municipal Waste. It's pretty cool stuff, and I really enjoy what's going on here, and if you enjoy The King, like I do, you'll find some place in your heart for Bat, and Under the Crooked Claw, absolutely fantastic stuff. Up next is Botanist with Paleobotany. This is the band at their absolute peak so far. This has the best production that they've done ever. And I mean that because every previous album, even last year's album, has a very raw black metal feel behind it. This one has more of a post-rock production behind it, which I think was the right direction to go into. But don't be scared if you're a longtime fan, there's still plenty of the black metal stuff going on. Although, of course, the band refers to themselves as green metal. This is a brand new lineup for the band that Hammered Dulcimer is of course in full form here, and this just feels like the real proper way to be introduced into a band like Botanist, who experiments so much with that black metal post-rock sound and incorporating their own kind of stuff without even including a guitar. And if this sounds intriguing to you at all, give it a shot because I think it is well worth your time. Next up is the third album from Gatecreeper with Dark Superstition, and this is going to be regarded as one of the best death metal albums of the more mainstream side of death metal in 2024. Gatecreeper has that perfect sound of being able to incorporate that 90s death doom sound of bands like Autopsy while mixing it up with 90s Swedish death metal, so you get stuff like Autopsy, you get stuff like Grave, you get stuff like Entombed, yet you also get some stuff that also kind of has that Cannibal Corpse and Morbid Angel type of sound going along with it. They balance out both sides, so when it gets deep and doomy and gnarly, it fits so perfectly. When they get fast, they don't hit the blast beats, nor do they need to, but it's that great 90s death metal sound. Gatecreeper is knocking it out of the park once again, and if you've never checked them out before, I highly recommend this is the album that you start with. Up next is Godin with Veil of the Fallen, another sophomore album here from the New York doom metal band that originally come from the ashes of the band Winter, but I really feel with Veil of the Fallen they have found a way to become their own. There's some really good stuff going on here. It is dark, it is raw, it is doomy, the vocals are just soul-curdling, the musicianship on this album feels like you're being dragged through a graveyard. It's everything that you would want in this style of music. And if you enjoyed the band Winter and what they were able to accomplish with their soul album, and if you just want to see what some of the members of Winter are up to nowadays with a new lineup, you should definitely give this one a shot. Up next is Pallbearer with Mind Burns Alive. And this is, I'm already going to give it away, one of my favorite albums of 2024. This is the perfect evolution that Pallbearer needed to take with doing that crushing doom metal sound that they've always been known for, vocals that expand upon what they have done in the past, and being able to incorporate different styles that are going on here. There's saxophone throughout this album, there's more strings going on throughout this album, and of course that crushing doom, while being able to experiment with more genres and never losing fact that they are a doom metal band. This is how you evolve the doom metal sound while still being yourselves. This is one of the best doom albums of 2024 and one of my favorite albums of 2024, and if you don't believe me, just give it a shot. Up next is Pain with I Am, and I must say, despite this being that tongue-in-cheek, sarcastic, very fun Pain style that you're used to from Peter Tägtgren on this side of his musical ambitions, this is the darkest album that Pain has put out to date. It's very introspective, it's a great look at the world around us, and how we're dealing with things. Peter still has that great way of making it fun, catchy, danceable, sing-along, but it is dark, sarcastic, tongue-in-cheek, everything that you would still want, but a very honest album as well. Peter did almost everything on this album, with some exceptions from his sons on this album. I really love what's going on here, and this is the most introspective album I feel like he's put out to date. And if you want that, plus it being fun, danceable metal, give this one a shot. And finally, for brand new music that I checked out this week, it is Zombies with Heart of Darkness, the sophomore album, and 18 years later since the debut album. More of a new lineup going on here, but still being able to show off what they did on the debut album, but, you know, more modernized. This is a modern production take of horror punk and heavy metal mixed together, so imagine the Danzig and Misfits of the world, add some more punk, almost hardcore kind of stuff, maybe something like AFI, if that sounds like something for you. Some thrash metal stuff going on here from the early 80s, kind of more in that Slayer kind of feel, but you mix that all together with that horror theme that Zombies started in the mid 2000s and is now doing here again. This is such a fun album. It's a fun album full of punk, metal, and horror, and I can't describe it any better than that. If you love that, you'll love this. And now it's time for some albums that I missed along the way, starting off with the third album from Bulgaria's own Dark Flight. This is some atmospheric doom metal mixed in with the lightest bit of gothic and black metal tendencies going on here. It actually feels more like a gothic album more than their previous material, but if you are a fan of bands like Shape of Despair or October Tide, or what I hear the most on this particular album is that mid-era catatonia, that Last Fair Deal Gone Down type era catatonia, this is an album for you. It's a dark, deep album that is a soul crusher of an album, but it's much needed soul crushing. This album has everything that I love about the dark side of this style of music, and it might be something for you as well. And if you like that dark, doomy, gothic sound, check this one out. Up next is Hybrid Nightmares with Woeful Inertia, another sophomore album here that I really love what's going on here with their style of extreme progressive metal. You'll hear moments of the more extreme black metal bands like Cradle of Filth and Dimmu Borgir, where they really have a huge, expansive sound, but you combine that with a lot more progressive moments from bands like Niavlascaris, or Borknagar, or the band everyone seems to love in 2024, and I'm so happy to see them finally getting their due, In Vain. It has black metal, it has death metal, it has prog, it has everything that you're looking for in this style, but done through the filter of Hybrid Nightmares. And if that sounds interesting to you at all, I highly recommend this album. It is not for the faint of heart, but you wouldn't be going into this if you are a fan of heart, would you? And finally today, and I deeply apologize for butchering this as I'm not good at French, Yours Palais with Disillusion. The third album from this French black metal band is a very extremely emotional album, and while I can't necessarily bank on that 100% because I don't know French, I really hear it through the emotional vocals and the emotional music that's going on throughout it. There's so many moments that feel like a deep, dark gut punch, and it has some great bombastic moments, from more simple moments to very grandiose moments throughout the entire album, and you can hear so much pain on this album. It's the kind of album that you would purge your emotions to, and you know, in 2024 we need albums like that. If you want some black metal that really has a great emotional feel behind it, I can't recommend this album enough. Disillusion more than lives up to the name. So there you go folks, 11 brand new albums, 3 that have been in recent times, and 8 of them are out today. So what did you think? Did you like these albums? Did you not like them? Any of them you're gonna check out for the first time? Are you not gonna check them out because I recommended them? Let me know in the comments down below. And of course, like, comment, share, subscribe, all of that good stuff. I apologize once again for not being on camera. I am just too broken to be on camera right now. And who knows, maybe if people like the format that I'm doing this right now, maybe this will be be an everyday thing. I don't know. But once again, thank you so much for tuning in, and I hope you come back next week as we talk about all the brand new albums of May 24th, 2024, and anything else that I missed along the way. And until then, this is Josh Runquist for the Heavy Debriefings YouTube channel saying, embrace the skullet.